Happy Venus Day. If you're watching this on a Friday, happy Venus Day. And even if not, happy day, blessed day to you. Let's go ahead and tap in. So, we're going to see what's going on with the collective. And I know it's been a minute. You know, I post when I can, y'all, when I'm guided to and when I can. So, I work crazy hours. Like, so I got to get my beauty sleep in. So, but other than that, I posted in the community poster section probably like a couple of days ago, and I was getting something about victory, and the word glory kept coming to me. And then, like, not even 24 hours of me posting that, I seen something pop up again, like a thumbnail that said victory on it. So I'm just like, okay. But if you know what the word victory means or the different meanings, this will resonate with you to some degree. Now, you could be in the midst of something right now where it doesn't seem like something is going to work in your favor, or you're just trusting that it will. You're just at a place where you're trusting, okay, this is going to work in my favor. I have no choice but to, or not to. Hey, I have no choice but to believe and trust that it's going to work out. And for some of you guys, there is a victory, like on the other side of something that you persevered. I really do get this strong energy, and I think I spoke about it a couple of times already before, but this message where people are transitioning into new phases and you have to trust. And of course, it's like it's not always apparent as to if something is going to work out in your favor. You just have to do what you have to do, and trust. Sometimes it feels like it's a setback. Sometimes it feels like that you failed. And it's funny because, and I'll post this on the community later probably too, but I seen this look like a tweet, like this guy tweeted. It's like a viral meme or something now. Like lately I've been seeing it make its round on Instagram and on YouTube. And it says, like Aaliyah said, or something like that, I've been trying, or I've tried again. I dusted myself off and I've tried again. So if you guys are Aaliyah fans, you guys know the song Try Again. And even if you're not a fan of Aaliyah, you probably know the song Try Again. Okay, that my crystal does not one of my decks off the table. Interesting. Anyway, so yeah, it could be something that you persevered. Like, don't give up before the breakthrough happens. Don't give up on yourself. Every attempt, every it's the right word, every attempt, every pursuit, every trust and leap of faith that you're taking, every action counts. It's all a win, even if it doesn't seem, the divine contract card flew out. Even if it doesn't seem like things are working out, like, you have to trust. You have to take those leaps. You can't have that poverty mindset or that lack mentality when it comes to you taking leaps of faith and just putting yourself out there, or you starting from square one. Like, all you have is your faith. Even if regardless, like, put it this way, even if your most loyal supporter or friend or family member, or friends or family members or supporters weren't there, if you exclude them out of the picture, do you still have support with you? Do you still support you? Do you still have faith in yourself? So you have to have that regardless of who's in your corner or who's not in your corner. You have to have that faith in regards to whatever your situation is. If this is your message, then let's proceed. Let's pull the cards and see what the divine, our beloved ancestors, our heavenly family and team, what do they want us to know, Holy Spirit? Wow. Interesting. Dang, like, I tell you, sometimes the same fucking cards come out all the time. Wow. Okay. Okay, let me sit with this real quick and make sure that I'm getting the full gist and message. So The first card that came out was counterfeits, karmics, and spirit spouses. So some of you, this could, okay, let me slow down for a second. You have deliverance and liberation, your power, prophetic messages, anointed and gifted with false prophecies. So this is just what comes with whenever you're stepping into something new. And then remember the divine contract card flew out too, but I put it back. Whenever you're like starting fresh, starting over, you're initiating the new, right? There's gonna be things or people that you're going to have to separate yourself from, ways, patterns, addictions, beliefs, um, old energies, outdated thinking, whatever it is, environments, people, places, and things, whatever, right? That you're gonna have to part ways with. Now, it's not always a fun thing to do. Obviously, it's not easy. And for some of you, it's like being very careful of who you allow into the new season that you're in. Because you're gonna have to make space, right? Make room for things to come through. And I do feel like for some of you, a lot of your breakthrough is going to come from you releasing yourself from connections that don't serve you, right? Um, yeah, a lot of people are not going to like this message because it does require you. Anytime you are leveling up, there's always a sacrifice, right? So, in a divine sense, sacrifice, not hurting and harming people, but sacrificing things that you know no longer serve you, but it's not easy to give up or let go of. It's like, hey, sis, good day, good morning. It's like an addiction to coffee, right? You love coffee, but you know that it's not healthy for you. The sugar that you put in it and all that extra stuff, right? It's not healthy. Your doctor tells you you want your health to be better, you're gonna have to exclude X, Y, and Z out of your diet. And it's like these are things that I love and it's gonna be hard, but I'm making the sacrifice because I know that it's going to make me healthier, right? So, like with situations, people, thought patterns that we have, certain patterns of you might not be able to sleep in. You got to get up earlier if you want to make some things happen. You know what I mean? Like you have to make adjustments and make sacrifices in order to have that breakthrough. That's just what it is, right? With connections with people, this is the hardest thing because as humans, relationships are everything. Community is everything. So if you know something or someone is not for you, and even harder when it's someone that you're physically intimate with, you're breaking the yoke and the ties between the two of you, not just physically, emotionally, and mentally, but spiritually as well. You consummated yourself with another human being every time that you lay down or every time you pour emotional energy. I just learned this. I'm late to the party probably, but I just learned that the human body, we have at least 90 seconds to process an emotion. But after 90 seconds, if we dwell in that energy or that emotion for too long, it's like we're choosing to carry the energy. We're choosing. So, like, if we have a moment where we get offended by something someone says, or somebody cuts you off in traffic, you can, at 90 seconds, be like, oh, F this person, whatever, get mad real quick, whatever emotions you felt, but it's up to you whether after that 90 seconds you say to yourself, that's just a stranger. I ain't going to see them again, whatever. Keep it moving, keep it pushing about your day. Or you can carry that all the way through the office, going into work, going home, whatever. You just keep that in your mind, that vision in your mind, or that feeling that you felt that somebody cut you off. So then those emotions start, those negative emotions, those lower dense emotions start to process in your body. And that's where dis-ease comes from, or diseases come from, and depression or stress, whatever. And your body will tell you, different points in your body are going to tell you that you're carrying certain energies, a certain weight in your back or in your stomach or whatever, right? Your headaches. So, in short, these energies, like, it's up to you whether or not you continue to carry certain things that don't serve you. Your breakthrough is not going to happen until you make those necessary sacrifices. And I'm not telling you something that you don't already know. Like, if this is your message, I mean, take it if it resonates, and if it doesn't, just throw it to the wayside. But we know when something or someone is not good for us. It's up to us to make that conscious decision within our mind to say, I have to let it go. And then everything else aligns and catches up. So you don't have to figure out, well, how am I going to do this or how am I going to do that? Focus on making the decision that you're going to do it because you know you have to do it. That's the first step. So some of you guys are connected to people that are counterfeit of something that is divine. So could be a counterfeit friendship, a counterfeit job, counterfeit partner, karmic connections, connections that you signed agreements with. And when I say agreements with, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, for some of you, it could be a roommate situation. For some of you, it's a marriage. For some of you, it's could be like a karmic contract in the sense of like you've yoked yourself with somebody, you've aligned yourself with someone by day to day, connecting with them. So they've become that contract in your life. You guys are bound together in a sense. And it's not something that you can't break because you can. And karmic, in a sense, when I say karmic, the word karmic itself is not necessarily a good or bad thing. It just depends on the energy and what you invest. So investing in connections that are counterfeit, they're not the real deal. They're not for you. They're not healthy for you. You're getting back the energy of connecting with those people. Have you ever heard of guilty by association? Something similar to that. Hey, Zaria. Good day. Good morning. You're aligning yourself with that. So anytime you hang out with certain people and you know that they're into some stuff that you're not into, anytime you have to be careful with this because you can keep your distance from certain people like, yeah, my friend is into this or a family member is into that. I'm not into that. And you could love them from afar, but as soon as you start associating with them and linking up with them and going places, you make yourself receptible to be hit with the karmic energy that they're in. Does that make sense? So when you're connecting with good people, you generate positive karmic energy, right? Good karma. Spirit spouses, I can't even overlook that. Spirit spouses are people that we kind of, in essence, a spirit, really, like a spirit where you find yourself single, and I don't want to get too deep into all of this, but you find yourself single, you feel like somebody's laying in the bed with you, you have these weird dreams, sleeping with somebody with a faceless person, you don't know who they are, or it's like the strange energy around it. It's or every time you try to link up or hang out with somebody, or you're getting into a new connection with a man or a woman, there always seems to be some type of sabotage energy that comes behind it that doesn't make sense. That could be an indication you have a spirit spouse, possibly. And usually that happens when you have sex with people too, or you open yourself up to like sexual deviant things. I don't want to get too deep into that. On the flip side of this, I feel like this can go and apply in ways where you put yourself in this position where you believe so much so that somebody is your husband or your wife, and you put all this energy, let's say like twin flames, right? That's everybody's favorite thing. People put these titles and labels on people not knowing that when you align yourself with that, you sign yourself up energetically when you start saying, oh, that's my twin flame, or I feel like that's my soulmate, and this person may not really be that. You're creating a soul tie with someone, and it's delaying your process with what is for you or who's for you. Or you're with a or you're in a situationship or friends with benefit situation, or you're in a relationship with a man or woman that really isn't for you, and you're giving them the perks of being a spouse and a partner. You're so devoted, you're giving this and you're giving that to a person that is just a seasonal connection or somebody that you probably really shouldn't have ever been with in the first place. And it's delaying your process, not just delaying you in love and romance and marriage for some of you, but delaying you with certain things that you're supposed to have in your life or certain things that you're supposed to do in your life. So just like friends or certain family members can be a hindrance and a blessing blocker, so can partnerships and romantic connections. Even more so when you're sexually like yoked, you're having sex with that person. But for some of you, like with this deliverance and liberation card, you are freeing yourself of whatever is the chain, whatever's keeping you stuck. And I feel like whatever these counterfeit energies are, romantic or platonic, whatever, family based or whatever, whoever these karmic energies, these lower karmic vibrational energy people are, they're liars. Okay. They don't tell the truth, or they may be stringing you along, or they're just like liars by nature, not just lying to you, but they're just liars in nature. So that could be an indication or clarity, further clarity into who this may be. And I always say this, it's easier said than done, but when it comes to love and romance, especially for us women, when we hear that someone or someone is not for us, or we know this, I bet you hands down every woman in here that resonates with this, you knew that somebody was not for you, but it may have been something hard for you to break free of, or you didn't want to. And a lot of times, like, with that, it's a painful thing, but when you use logic, logic tells you that, well, obviously, if it's not him or if it's not her, then there's still somebody that is meant for me. So why am I stuck on this one person? Why? Because that's where the energy, where we get tied into the emotions. We get attached to the idea of a person. We get attached to memories. We get attached to the what ifs and the unknowns, or I poured all of this energy into this person, or I thought they might have been my person, or they told me this and they said this, and you're attached to those things, and it clouds your judgment, it clouds your intuition, it clouds your better logic on a situation. But for some of you, I do feel like you are breaking free of that, or you already have broken free from some type of karmic connections or energies that are not for you, and tapping into your power. Because again, it's like you're not a weak vessel. You might have weak moments, but that doesn't make you a weak person. We're all human. You have some type of purpose here that does require community and unity, but it's really discerning like the people that are for you and those who are not. And that's why Spirit is saying to disassociate yourself with these false connections, because I'm getting kind of like a Sailor Moon energy, obviously, with this moon stick, that you do have people that are destiny helpers, your soul tribe, your soul family, your divine partner, and certain people, like, you had to go through certain lessons, or this is going to help you better discern who's for you and who's not for you through these counterfeit karmic energies. You are also someone that is a messenger as well. Some of the things that you already know, so whatever is coming out of this message is something that you've already gotten a message about personally for yourself. You already got this message, or something to come, but you are gifted. It's like you are being used for a sacred purpose and reason. And I feel like what's blocking you is false prophecies, like false things that maybe you believed, or like you've been hypnotized to believe things that are not for you. I got to clarify that card. What's this false prophecy card? Something with like your mind or beliefs. Hey sis, how are you? Good day. Good morning. Clarify this false prophecy card. Hmm. Queen of Cups in reverse, Seven of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. Hmm. Some type of, you could do this to yourself. It may not be anybody that's doing this to you, but I'm getting this energy of like this false sense of protection. Like, oh, don't do that because it's not safe. Or if you dream and think about certain things, that's not true. That's not going to happen. That's too far fetched. So it's something that's blocking you from following your heart. And when I say following your heart, it's not from this place of like a lack of consciousness where you're just doing something. Oh, I'm so in love. I'm so obsessed. I got to show up to this person's job with flowers and just be crazy. No, like following your heart means, let's say, for example, and I don't want to limit anything, but let's just use this as an example where you want to start a practice for children in their mental health. You want to help them young, at a young age. um helping with some type of healing practice or something, and there's a part of you that wants to do this, but there's another part in you that says no, you can't do that, you can't afford to do that, or you're not well versed in that area, or if you try to go to school for that, how are you going to afford it, or you already got enough debt as it is, or something along the lines of that, right? So there's this false sense of protection, and you believed in yourself or told yourself that there's something. I feel like there's a block there, a certain block that is causing you to not see clearly, see your path clear, see the true prophecy that was given to you, or from receiving it. For some of you, haven't even received it yet. Um, and I also feel this could be very specific for somebody, but I'm getting like you were told from someone that someone was your person or they weren't your person. You got to use your discernment with that. I'm getting like someone that has the best intentions for you with the Queen of Cups in reverse. I don't feel like they're a bad person, but I feel like their insight is more so not coming from intuition, but it's more so coming from their emotional attachment to you. Like they want to see you happy, or they get excited like whenever you talk about a new person that you met, or they love the idea of love too. So it's like, oh, I feel like this person is your soul. Like be careful with that. Like it could just be advice. It doesn't have to be someone that is a spiritually what you call it, a spiritual gifted person or a spiritual practitioner. It could just be someone that you're close to that has like a heart for you, heart for people. They love, and you got to be discerning of the advice that you get. Okay, especially when it comes to pursuing, and if someone is pursuing, you got to know how to use your discernment. And one of the things that I really couldn't stand about the whole twin flame thing is how people excuse like the so-called runner thing. Oh, he's just scared, and oh, and we all have bought into that, and probably some people still buying into that. But you know, it's not just a black and white situation. Like, yes, some people might have some some emotional issues and some fears and things like that, and they could be a good person. They could still be, the person for you. And then there's those situations where you are being strung along, or someone that's not interested. You got to know how to use your discernment. That's just what it boils down to. Um, let's see what else. Yeah, and this is another thing too. Like your prophecies will find you. Stop seeking prophecies. Stop seeking future. Stop trying to figure out your future. That's not what tarot is for. That's not what we're for. Here to tell you your future. Unless spirit gives us that to tell you. You don't look for prophecy. You don't look for future things. It will find you. If you are a whether or not you're a prophetic person or not, like what you need to know, whatever messages, whatever insight, whatever warnings, whatever green lights or confirmations or revelations you're supposed to receive, it will come to you. You just got to be receptive and know what you're looking at. And it's nothing wrong with seeking confirmation or seeking advice or guidance, but even with that, still be wise. So use your discernment. Um, but stop seeking it, because if that's you being anxious, you're not present. You're going to miss it. And also reading into everything. Sometimes like spiritual things require you to be in spirit, meaning to be in tune and to be present and centered. But it also requires a balance of logic as well. You can't be too logical and you can't be too spiritual or overly emotional. You have to have balance. I'm going to use this deck and see what else spirit wants you to know. You can't really call yourself spiritual if you're always anxious about the future. That's actually a sign of being too 3D, if that makes sense. Spiritual is being present, being in the moment, feeling and filtering things and living, not being anxious about the future. That's 3D shit. That's flesh. I need to know. I need to know. That's not spiritual. It's anything but it. That's why I'd be like, y'all, like, be taking advantage of tarot. Tarot is not meant to tell our future. Like, it's not really for that. It's not always about that. You have arguments, holding back, and separation. Like I said, Some of you need to know this specifically. If some of you are just not resonating with people anymore, and you find yourself being unable to have a meeting of the minds, or one person's willing to put energy into a connection, the other person's not. It's like this opposition. There's no willing to come together and work things out, or separate from the ego and hear each other out, or work through things, or someone keeps offending or doing the same thing over and over with another person, and one other person is being considerate and putting their own ego to the side to bring peace, and the other person's doing the opposite. Like there's something, or your spirit, like energetically you guys are in opposition, your lives don't match, your energies don't resonate. That is a sign that, especially if you find yourself holding back, you're not being your authentic self anymore, or you haven't in a long time, or you find that certain things are being blocked every time you go forth and move it towards a direction, something never works out, or it just seems like all these delays are happening. It could be blessings being blocked because these are people that are not supposed to be in the picture. It's like, kind of like a sabotage. Like spirit will hold certain things back from us if we are not in the position vibrationally to receive it, or we have energies, or we're in environments or places around dense energies, or lower vibrational people, or people that have envy in them, or volatile energy, or self-saboteur energy, or opportunists around you, or backstabbers. Spirit is not going to bless you with certain things as long as you're in certain environments or circles of people. That's just common sense. You want to get married and you wonder why you're not married yet because you're still dealing with somebody, you're still holding on to an ex. Like, let that shit be, let it go. And I always tell people this: if you have a fear of letting go of something or someone, let's say like an ex, right? And you believe through and through that this is your twin flame or your soulmate, let them go. It's not going to hurt you to let go, and I'll tell you why. Whenever you let go of something, you let it go because it frees your space, it frees your energy up, and it allows you to move forward and live and be present and let things just play out. If that person you let go comes into your life in a way that is healthier, that is in alignment with your life and you with them, and it's not that same old back and forth. I'm not talking about somebody coming back in your life pretending, faking, and pretending like they've changed or they're better, but you actually genuinely see the shift and the change in this person's energy. You will know within yourself, that this person is different. You will know. Everybody can sense and see when somebody is glowed up, has changed, is healthier. It's evident. You don't have to say anything. You can just tell, right? So when somebody's just giving you game, they just, they're just talking that talk, but that usually wears off after a while, right? So if you let them go, you allow that energy to be what it is, to work itself out or whatever, and for time to bring you back together if it's meant. But the other flip side of it, of letting go, if they're not your person, at least you've let go and you freed that space up for someone that is for you to come into your life. Some people are stubborn. They're not going to want to hear that because they're so fixated on the idea of a person, or so attached to just needing to be attached to something and anything, that you can't fathom this. And it's not to say that you don't care or you don't love a person because you freed it. You love yourself more. That's the key. Real love is not saying I'll hurt and harm myself and carry all the burdens and weight just to prove that I love this person, or prove to them that I love them or I care so much. That's not real love. That's not healthy, because anytime that you're harming yourself, denying and ignoring yourself of your own needs, you're not in a healthy state to love anybody. You can't. How could you? You're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to do that. So some of you guys are going to be having to separate from certain things or certain people. And this is not just romance. Like sometimes, you have to separate yourself from family or certain family members. You know what I mean? Exclude yourself, not isolate yourself where you crawl into a hole and you just shut off human communication. But some people are not for you. And you know this. If you find yourself feeling restricted and stuck, depressed, stressed, or they provoke negative energy in you, pull your energy back so you can have better clarity. And it's not always the other person's fault either. There could also be sides and things within us. If somebody brings out the worst in you, that's a clear indication that you guys are not healthy for each other. Not at all. Friendship should not be about competition and backstabbing and jealousy. Partnerships should not be about you sacrificing yourself to the point of this person getting more out of the relationship than you do, where you're cheating or getting cheated on, or this person is keeping you in a limbo state, you're confused, you're back and forth. Like, that's a sign of something that is toxic. You have to love yourself more than you love other people, and their safety and their, their happiness. Like, when you're doing that to yourself, you don't really love yourself enough. Not to say that you don't love yourself, but not enough. So, yeah, I know this isn't probably what y'all want to hear. It's not, oh, you're just gonna have a wonderful life with the person that you're obsessed with and you're watching this reading for. Like, nah, it ain't. We don't work like that all the time. Especially if they're not for you. Like, shoot, no. But that's why I can't do this. Like, I can't. I wish I could have a better message sometime for y'all, but at the same time, if it's what you need to hear, it's what you need to hear. And I don't read tarot from that Disneyland shit. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend and all that shit that, oh, this is this and this says this, and that's dumb. Because that's why some motherfuckers are stuck in a loop right now. That's why people are stuck in a loop right now. They want to stay stuck on Tyrone and stuck on Ashley and whoever else. And you're not getting anywhere. Like, you're stuck. You're complaining about, oh, when love is never going to come. Well, probably because your energy is tied up to a motherfucker that's not for you. They're sucking. You're allowing them. Nobody can do nothing unless we give them free will and permission to do so, right? So, honestly and truthfully, lovingly, I say this: you can hold your own self back by allowing other people to be that for you. And sometimes some of this isn't even people. This is something with self. It comes a time where a certain part within ourselves, and I'm sure some of you already know this, you've experienced this. There's a certain moment in our lives where when we're on the cusp of a shift or a change or doing something different in life or bettering ourselves or making healthier decisions, a part of ourselves will fight against that and will convince us why we shouldn't do it. It's usually fear, right? That will go back and forth. We'll debate within ourselves. We'll gaslight ourselves. We'll gaslight ourselves into fear, into insecurities and self-doubt, right? And that's what keeps us stuck. It holds us back, right? But you have to part from certain aspects of yourself. Certain parts of yourself just no longer align, no longer resonate. You've outgrown those parts. You can't take every piece with you. It's like to say, I'm 4 years old, right? And I'm trying to take my baby socks with me into kindergarten or preschool. You can't wear the same shoes. Or you're a teenager and you're trying to take shoes that you used to fit when you were 10 years old. You can't walk in those same shoes anymore, right? You outgrow parts of yourself. That's just life. So some of these things are just, you're no longer in that space anymore because you've matured spiritually and mentally. And some things are just toxic parts of ourselves, toxic things that we've taken on. You can't take that with you where you're going. You just can't. Hey Sam, how you doing, sis? You can't take that part of you with you. So that can go that way too. It doesn't just have to be about other people, you know? We have to decenter ourselves from making it about other people. Because it's easy to blame the world. It's easy to be like, oh, this person was toxic or this was that. And sometimes we could be the toxic character too. Or it could just be a lot of whatever it is that we're being called to leave behind is things within ourselves that no longer fit anymore. We've outgrown it. We've matured past it, or it was toxic and we needed to heal past that. It is what it is. But the beautiful thing about this is like when you make those necessary sacrifices to let things go, you will receive quote unquote the rewards of that, because you made space, you made room. If we're going to just talk about, logically speaking and vibrationally speaking, anything that is like, let's say I had all types of different decks on this table and I'm buying new decks or I'm trying to use these decks, I'm going to have to logically move some decks out of the way in order to make space. That's just logic. So, yeah, you're just moving blocks out of the way that are not for you or just naturally outgrown. And you can tell, and it's a bittersweet thing, especially when it comes to connections with people. If you're a lover like me, you love people, but you can't stand people at the same time. Like, people frustrate me. I feel like everybody, humans frustrate each other. But you love people. You love friends. You love your family. You love romantic energy and having a partner. And there's nothing wrong with that. You love your animals, whatever. But there's a time where you gotta remove some things out of your way. Yes, clean out the closet. That's another thing too. Like, even physically, like things in our space, like it's funny because things be coming full circle. So if you follow me on Instagram, I posted in my story, I think it said something like clean your house, clean something. Um Whatever, I don't remember. Anyway, so no, don't go there. Thing is stupid. I hate this phone sometimes. But like, yeah, when you physically clean some stuff out of your space, you're energetically like you're putting that energy out there that I'm ready for more. So you're cleaning your closet out. That's a sign, that you're ready to allow new things in. And that's also a good thing too. If you're giving things away to people that need it, that's also a blessing too, because energetically when you give back you receive, and we don't give to receive, but it's just that's the good karmic energy. When you give to others, you get blessed back. That's just positive karma, good karma. So yeah, simple shit, but simple shit makes big moves in the spirit realm. Like, we might think that cutting off a relationship with someone that maybe we've been with for years, or cutting off a friendship that you didn't want to but you had to, or it was unhealthy, or this relationship was unhealthy, you were tired of the back and forth, you were tired of being mistreated or tired of how you treated each other, you know and you made that step even though it hurt to do that, even though you still love or you still care for the person. That is acknowledged. That's big weight in the spirit realm. That took courage. That took selflessness, because not only are you doing a service or a good deed for you, but also for the other person, because you're freeing yourself and you're freeing that person essentially for them to receive what's meant for them. Or maybe you were blocking them from getting the healing that they needed. When you carry the burden for other people, sometimes we take away their responsibility and their accountability that they need to take for themselves. So when you remove yourself out of the picture, kind of allows other people to either make that choice or decision whether they're going to better themselves or not. But you're no longer carrying the weight for them. You're no longer coddling them, or you're no longer giving them permission to kind of stay in an energy that doesn't serve them. And again, this might be tough to hear, but sometimes we are the toxic energy sometimes. So we could be blocking someone else, or we could be just blocking each other. Like, they had to learn a lesson, you had to learn a lesson, or you can learn from the situation, whatever, right? So we just got to put on our big boy panties and drawers, right? Big girl, big boy panties and drawers. We have to do that and be honest with ourselves is one of those things. And it's not easy. It's not. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like, um, you know, tarot readings and stuff online are so Disneyland fantasy fuckery that it keeps people from taking accountability for themselves, and having a false perception of what being in tune with self, and essentially what spirituality is: being in tune with self, being in tune with the world around you, being in tune with source, God, whatever that means for you, into putting all of your faith into a human being shuffling some cards and what the cards are saying and what they looking like. What does my future look like? What does this person think and feel? When you make that all of what spiritual or what this is, you're not gonna grow. You're not. And there's a lot of people that are stuck in that karmic loop of that um repeat, wash wash and repeat cycle of these tarot readings. And so sometimes it's a challenge to come from this perspective, because not too many tarot readers do. There are tarot readers out there that will give you the real, and it's not all about like what you want to hear, but what's good for the soul, essentially what's good for you. Not saying that this reading is going to be for everyone. It's not. It's just not. That's goofy to think that this is going to resonate with everybody. So I'm not speaking from a matter of fact that you have to listen, but just as advice and encouragement, if you're going to seek out spiritual counsel and guidance and insight, come from a place where you're looking for something that's going to help you spiritually in your soul, not what's going to feed your ego. Because people think that it's spiritual because they're watching cards. Like, no, the cards itself are not so much the spiritual thing, but it's the usage, the intent, and the person behind it. And then, the symbols and all of that on the cards. But if it's not helping you, if it's not provoking some type of thought, some type of processing and reflecting and meditating, um, then it's just something to entertain you and feed you on an egoic level. And then you're just stuck in the same shit. It's okay every now and then to be like, oh, let me watch this video on whatever X, Y, and Z. But when it becomes this thing where you're not growing, you're not shifting, you're not changing, you're just hearing regurgitated things like, oh, this summer is gonna be beautiful. And granted, yes, it's accurate sometimes. Some of it is not useful. Yeah, this person's coming back and they feel this and it helps you, yes. But if it's something where you just want to hear what you want to hear, and it's just like buttering your ass up all the time, it's not helping you. And I speak from experience too, because like I've done this to myself. Like, it doesn't help you sometimes. If you just want to sit and hear what you want to hear, or you just want to focus on certain levels of things, and you're not using the tool to utilize to go and search within yourself and make shifts and make changes. Because you can tap into a reading and hear somebody say, oh, congratulations, you're the main character, everybody's jealous of you, you're going to get your just due, and you're perfect, and all these people are going to suffer and watch you eat. If you just listen to shit like that all the time, I guarantee your ass is not growing. You're not the main character in everybody's story. Probably nobody cares about each other enough like that to, you know, that's not logic. It's not. Borderline narcissistic. But no, no. I can't even bullshit to y'all. Sometimes I'd be just like, I don't want to do this. Cause I'd be wanting to like deliver those cute messages, but it's not like that all the time. You know what I mean? And I don't read like everybody else. Every reader is different, and the way that I read is like my own way, and my own way might resonate with some people and it may not. It might irritate people because I'm a messenger. I'm not. These cards are just my tool. I can read, I can give you guidance, I could tap into the energy, hear what spirit is saying, be guided to say certain things, and to you it might be bullshit because it doesn't resonate with you, or it's just you don't want to hear it. You want to hear what you want to hear, or you think that all of the power is in the cards, and it is just not. The power is within you. You can pick this deck up and read it completely different than I have, because that's your power going into the deck, and vice versa. These cards are not the power. It doesn't come from them. So we don't really need this. It's illustrative. It's a colorful illustration of information and clarity, guidance, and energy, but it's not the soul search. So I want to say this: don't use tarot as your main source, or even me or any other person outside of you, whether it's your best friend, whether it's somebody online, on TikTok, on Instagram, reading, whatever. Your sole source of information should always come from within you. and seeking prophecy and seeking future tense energies and readings and what's going to happen, you're not present. It's okay to ask questions and what you can potentially expect if there's something that you want to know, but you cannot live your life seeking future tense things all the time and seeking prophecy because you're not present, you're not living. Some things we're not meant to know, some things we're not meant to know at a time where we want to know it as well. So say all of that to say your breakthrough is on the other side of letting go whatever does not serve you, whatever you're called to, because we all know what those things are. No one can tell us what's for us and what not is what isn't for us. We know already within ourselves whether we want to admit it or not. It might take some time to catch up and let things go. And we all have free will. We can or we can continue, but there will come a point where either you're going to be like, I can't do this anymore because the situation has gotten worse. It's become unbearable. And another sign of things that you've outgrown is the unbearable feeling. It is more so of a burden than it is a place of freedom for you, or where it once was a place of joy, or you start to realize that something was never really fit for you or meant, or certain environments that you tried to attach yourself to, or one it used to work out because maybe you were at a certain level or mindset, or you vibe with certain people because you were at a certain level or mindset. And as you grow, you're going to be uncomfortable. Going back to the shoes, when you try to still wear them same shoes that you wore in high school, or well, some people still grow outside high school. Let's say middle school. Trying to still fit those shoes that you fit in middle school, and you're in high school now, and your feet are too big and you can't fit them, and they start to become irritated. Your feet get achy, right? That is the uncomfortability is a sign that you've outgrown something. You can try to stretch it out for as long as you can, but your feet gonna keep hurting until you're like, okay, I can't do this shit no more. It hurts. This is unbearable. So we can lie to ourselves as long as we want to. No one can tell us any different. We've all been there. We've all been stubborn. You're talking to the queen of stubborn people, like the most stubborn person probably in the universe. But no, I think my daughter got that in the bag. She's a stubborn person, but yeah, I've been there with stuff, and it will become unbearable until you say enough is enough. I can't do it, even if that means I gotta live in some place where I don't want to live, or I gotta move back in with my mom, or I gotta move back in with whoever, right? Or I have to go and work two jobs, or I'ma just look stupid. Everybody be like, how could you divorce him? He was the best thing. But they don't know what goes on behind closed. Whatever your situation is, right? Oh, that was the best job ever. How could you quit that job? And it might not be anything wrong with the job. You just feel stagnant there. You're not growing. You're not, maybe you went into the job thinking that I would be in this position forever and I would enjoy it. Getting paid well, they have good benefits, but there's a part of you that's grown and said, I want to start my own organization, right? So I want to do more of a leadership position, and I feel like this job is keeping me at this certain level. I can't grow here. And you become uncomfortable with the routine. It doesn't have to be that the job itself is bad or the people in the environment. You just don't resonate anymore with that. It doesn't always have to be something negative. It just doesn't resonate with you. Or this person could have been the best boyfriend, best girlfriend, but a part of you don't resonate with them. You kind of settle for a status quo, or they're a good man, or we have a house together and this and that, but you don't really, there's no real connectivity. There's something missing. There's something lacking there that you can't learn to fall into or fall in love with, or you can't force yourself to do it. So it doesn't have to be the person is toxic. They're just not for you. There's somebody else's good thing and you're someone else's good thing. That's all that is. Doesn't have to be like he knocking you upside your head or whatever. So yeah, it's on the other side, hunty. Okay, your breakthrough is on the other side, and it's not easy. Who am I to tell you to let go of some shit that you don't want to let go of? Nobody. But you can take it or leave it. But just It is what it is. It is up to you. You can live a life in peace and enjoy and have what's for you, or you can fight to keep what's not for you and be miserable still, or be content for a while just because you still have it, but then the peace will leave again eventually. So I send everybody love. I know that was like, I don't know. I can't speak for y'all, but that probably was a lot. But happy Venus Day. Happy Venus Day. And I promise it's gonna be okay. Like, certain sacrifices are not easy to make, but they're worth it. And you don't have to settle for less. Yes. And like I told, I think it was a friend, was it? I don't know. Well, I know I said it to a friend, but I don't know if I said it on here first or it was somebody. No, it was a happy hour reading. And I told her that it's okay to be a caring person and care for people, but there's a fine line between being a caring person versus carrying things for people. You're not supposed to carry everybody's weight. You don't have to do that. Nobody's making you do that, and stay in that. And it can be frustrating to hear people say, why don't you just walk away? Why don't you leave this? Or, nobody can tell you that. Speaking from experience on both ends, where people told me to let certain things go or certain things were not for me. And at the time, I knew I was struggling. I knew I was in pain. Hey, Dara. Hey, sis. I knew I was in pain. I knew that I was unhappy, but I stayed for X, Y, and Z until it got to the point where, again, it was unbearable and I had to let it go. And on the opposite side of course, you can probably imagine doing this and like just being an ear for people in my life, telling them that certain things are not for them and having the backlash of them not really accepting it or wanting to hear it or, coming at you like you did something, but you have to kind of like learn how to separate, leave it on the table. And what we do with it is what we do with it. We have free will to decide when enough is enough, or to decide that we want better for ourselves, or to decide if we want to start fresh, start over, to take action, to take leaps of faith, to have faith in general, to believe in ourselves. It is up to us to do that. Nobody else can convince us of that otherwise. They might be the spark to that, or they could be the one thing where it's like, shut up, I don't want to hear that. Who the fuck are you? You don't know what you're talking about. It's like that. But all of this is your free will choice. It is always up to you. Nobody can tell you different. Somebody can tell you the most beautiful prophecy in the world, and you can believe it, or you won't believe it, or you can believe that something is for you. Someone told you that, oh, this person is your twin flame, or this person is your soulmate, and you believe it even though it's not true. You could stay in that cycle, or you could say, I'm not going to do that. And unfortunately, like, that's a lot of people's plight, whether people believe in twin flames or not, or they know what that is, or ever heard of it or not. There's thousands of people, hundreds, if not millions of people, I'm sure millions of people that are in relationships right now that they know good and well are not for them, but they rather stay for their own selfish reasons, or out of fear, or out of insecurities, whatever the case may be. And that is their free will choice. That is their free will choice. Or stay in a situation that's sucky. And as humans, like, we'll find every excuse in the book to say why we can't start fresh, why we can't initiate things, why we can't do this, or we let other people tell us we can or we can't do something. And we could fall into the trap and believe that we can't or can't do something that we actually can achieve that is good for us. And I say this all the time: you can't manipulate something to be what it is not. You can't force a bad situation to be a good situation. If you're talking about another person, then that person has to want to be better for themselves and then better for you. And if kids are involved or whatever, or family members, if that person doesn't care enough about themselves to do better and work on what is not healthy, then what makes you think that they're going to do better for you? If they do it for you, it's only for the sake of kind of like, shut up, like, you just take it, just accept it. But then they're going to resent it later, and they're going to resent you later, because it's like, you forced me to do this and I don't want to do it. So instead of trying to work things out with a bad person, why aren't you receptive to a good person? Well, trauma will answer that for you because it's just easier. It makes sense. I just seen a video yesterday that kind of echoes the same thing where she was saying like a person can come into your life, and let's say not just romantically, but a good friend or just someone, that really cares genuinely about you as a person will come into your life and love you, be kind, be understanding, be compassionate, be a healthy person in your life. But as long as that trauma energy is there or that wound is there, where you're used to people treating you badly, you're used to abuse, you're used to let down after let down, being abandoned, being rejected, or whatever, and you've carried that, the 90-second rule. Remember when we can process our emotions for 90 seconds, but after that, if we're still dwelling in that, it's because we want to live there. And when we start to live there, then it starts to materialize mentally, emotionally, physically, all that, right? But anyway, so she was saying that the person will run from that healthy connection, healthy love and embrace because it's unfamiliar territory. But when the bad person comes along and starts playing games and starts treating you bad, starts cheating on you or whatever, it's familiar and you feel more safe there. It's more believable there because you've been through that. So that's where that leap of faith comes in, where you say to yourself, like, I know this is toxic. I know this is, just because I'm familiar with it doesn't mean it's a good thing. This is scary over here because I've never been over here before. I'm going to trust and take that leap. I don't know what it leads. This person might hurt me one day, or they could mess up and do something that might offend me and hurt my feelings, but it's healthier than being over here where somebody is doing it on purpose and constantly taking advantage or constantly being abusive or a cheater, a player, someone that's not for me, you know? So, yeah, it's familiar. It feels safe, and it's only because of that wound. That's why I say, again, going back to decentering it, making it about everybody else, and knowing that it's about you. Your response to the X, Y, and Z is it's a within thing. So you're only going to be able to be receptive to the good thing once you get to a place within yourself where you heal that wound that tells you that you can't be receptive to the good thing. This person can't convince you to be receptive to the good thing. This person over here cannot make you not be receptive to them or to keep accepting what they do. They're only going to do what you allow them to do. So it always goes back to whom? You. So, yeah, when you care about what's going on with you and inside of you, those things that treat you lesser than what you deserve, or when you tell yourself, oh, I'm deserving of this, because that's kind of what we're telling ourselves, whether we realize it or not, is I'm deserving of the abuse because there's something inside of the self that says I deserved it, or they're treating me like this because I did something wrong, or my parents abandoned me because I wasn't a perfect child, or they didn't spend time with me because I'm bad in school. Like, you'll tell yourself these things and believe it, even if they come from that place and treat you that way, because maybe, they might be like, oh, I'm punishing you. I'm giving you the silent treatment because you didn't pass your test or whatever. But that doesn't take away from your value or your worth. Going back to what I always say, no human being on this planet can validate your worth, give it to you, nor take it away from you, because your creator already created you to be who you were. Your value and worth is not determined off of another creation, like somebody else, telling you because you're this or you're that, you're worthy or you're not worthy. Nobody has the power to do that unless you believe it and you feed into that. But truthfully and honestly, nobody else has the power to say what you're worth and what you're not. You do. So if you believe that because, oh, I didn't pass my test and my parents are giving me the silent treatment, that I'm deserving of getting the silent treatment from lovers every time that, I don't perform for them, or I don't do this right, and I didn't cook, or I didn't do this. You're telling yourself that until you get to a place where you say, I'm worthy of more. I'm deserving of healthy love, of people that have patience with me, have grace, and not like patience where you could just be an asshole or just be a fuck up and just think that people are going to take that. Because again, like if people have self love, they're not going to put up with stuff, especially things that they did not create. They didn't do it to you. They're not the cause of it. They are not going to pay for that. So just like where you say to yourself, I'm a queen or I'm a king or whatever you want to call yourself, or I'm a good person, I deserve good things. You're not going to put up with somebody else's shit. You're not going to carry it because it's not your problem. Easier said than done. But again, it goes back to self. Unfortunately, some people don't want to hear that. We want to make it about us until it's really about us, and then we don't want to deal with it. We want it to be all about us, center ourselves around everybody is our universe, and everybody cares about what I'm doing, how I feel. They want to be with me or they don't. But when you take that decentering off of everybody else and yourself from that perspective and put it on yourself is, you know, correcting yourself and healing yourself, then it's not fun anymore to make it about you. But it is about you. I ain't saying shit that I ain't dealing with or have dealt with. It gets easier, or I should say sometimes, like some instances, it's easier than other situations or other things that you have to heal and grow from. And there's times where it's like, I could do this. I want to do it. I want to heal. But even if you feel like you want to heal, that doesn't mean it's going to be easier. And just because you fear doing it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be hard all the time. But just the mere fact that you are placing yourself in a position to do better, it speaks volumes, and that's all that you need is just that step to step up and say, I want to do better. I want to be better. I want to have better. I want to know better for myself. Like that within itself is just enough to get the process started. Sometimes it could be that deep, and sometimes it ain't that deep. Sometimes it's really just simple. Sometimes it requires a little bit of patience with yourself, compassion for yourself, discipline with yourself, and surrendering and trusting in your process and not worrying about it, not over analyzing it and thinking too deep into it. But other than that, I think that is all because I don't want to do too much. Like I've already probably did too much, but it is what it is. It is what it is, what it's going to be. But yep, that is the message. I hope you guys enjoy your Friday. Happy Venus Day, y'all. Give yourself some love. Buy yourself some flowers or something nice, or just relax. Give yourself a breath. Breathe for a second. Write yourself a letter or a note. I think I'm going to do that today. Like how you appreciate yourself, even if it's small. I'll say this, like if you genuinely just don't feel like there's anything that you can write to yourself, a appreciation letter or gratitude letter to yourself, thank yourself for getting up out of the bed this morning. Cause that can be a task. Trust me, that shit is a task, whether you genuinely tired or you're depressed, but at least you got up. It could be as simple as saying, like, I allowed myself to at least do something positive for myself, or whatever it is. Like it doesn't have to be this extravagant thing like, oh, you the baddest bitch. If that's your affirmation, that's your gratitude, then hey. But it doesn't matter. Like something as simple as, but not so simple as getting out of the bed, because not everybody woke up this morning or got a chance to lay back in their bed. And some people might not want to get out of bed at all, and maybe not get out of bed, period, because they don't want to. And that's not easy. Like if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Or you could just be fucking tired and don't want to get up, but you did it. You did that. You did it. But yeah, find something that you can write down gratitude to yourself, or I'm grateful. And if you can't think about you, then say, I'm grateful that I'm a wonderful friend, or I'm grateful that I'm a wonderful mother, parent, father. I'm grateful that, I helped someone so the other day. If you can't make it about you, but still at the same time, you're going to it's still bringing it back to you. That's okay. Drinking your free tray coffee. Yes. There's always something to be grateful for. And I know, like, because sometimes I get into that mode where I can't really see like the gratitude and things. And it's so silly because I know, like, deep down inside, like, I know that there's always something to be grateful for, but I can have my pity party moments where I'm like, making mountains out of small things, but I guarantee you can find something. Aw, thanks, sis. I'm grateful that I know you too. I'm grateful that I know all of my soul tribe on here. I appreciate y'all. I really do because how long have I been on YouTube? Gosh, I think 2015, I want to say 2015. January of 2015 is when I started my journey on here. And the leap of faith that it took just to do that, and you know have people that supported, like, whether you were at the start at the genesis of my channel or in between any of those times, like, because you don't have to. This is the thing about, like, YouTube and any platform where you are subscribed or you're following a person. You don't have to do that. There's times where maybe you feel like it's no longer for you and you unsubscribe or you unfollow. But I appreciate anybody that just simply gives me a chance, I guess, or gives an ear to, these messages, because you don't have to listen to it. You don't have to take it at all. And it's not the point of everybody has to, whoever clicks on is going to have to resonate or agree with me. That's not the thing. Um, but, just allowing, you know, the space to speak and come on here and be received by those who I'm meant to receive my message or receive me as a person, as an individual, as a spirit, as a vibration, whatever. I appreciate it. So I'm grateful for that. And I thank you guys. Even though YouTube is an asshole and I think their algorithm sucks, I appreciate you too for allowing people to have a space with somewhat of freedom, not too much. And if you give people too much freedom, they will fuck it up anyway. But I'm grateful for that. So, and grateful to Source God. I gotta say that. Shout out to Source God, and shout out to my experiences and the people that helped me through my experiences, whether they was assholes, whether they were good people, whether they're in my life or they're no longer in my life, where I left or they left. I'm grateful because none of this, like, yes, it's divine inspired, like the messages and stuff, but some of these things are from life experience too, you know? So, yes, I am grateful. So I'm sending much love to you guys. I'm grateful. Thank God it's Friday. Friday is my day. I love Friday. I love Venus Day. So, shout out to that. But yeah, much love to you guys as always. Enjoy the rest of your day. Whenever you watch this, really. Thank you. I appreciate it, PM. Thank you. Thank you. Turn down for what? No turn down unless you want to chill and relax, because sometimes we owe it to ourselves. We owe ourselves some turn ups every now and then, and we owe ourselves some wind down time. So both are equally important, just in healthy moderation and balance. So we good. Everybody's safe. Nobody getting hurt. Nobody hurting nobody. Then we good. But other than that, yeah, that is that. I for real. I'm getting off. I'm getting off because y'all know, like, this can turn into like a 2 hour thing, which I think it did, kind of. Where are we at? 69 minutes, hour, 9 minutes. We've been on here for a good deal of time. Y'all know it's a reading and a therapy session. Y'all know that. Just because I ain't available to do the Tuesday heart therapies, tarot and heart therapies, don't mean it ain't gonna come out. So much love as always. I appreciate you guys. Thank you again. Cyber kisses and cyber hugs for everybody on a platonic level. No lips, no kissing on the lips, okay? So much love. Peace.